What's up, guys? Back with me, and here we got Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 2, Episode 3, School Hard. Okay, so this episode starts off in the principal's office. Oh, you know him, you loathe him. It's Principal Awful to himself, Principal Snyder. And, yeah. And he's basically like, and he's basically talking to Buffy and his new character named Sheila about what bad stuff, whatever happened they did or something. And basically mentioned Buffy's record, and he's like, "Hey, you two will help with the festivity," and they're like, "Sure." So after the intro, so after the intro, Buffy, like is helping them out, and then. Is helping them out. Is helping them out when we meet, and then after we meet a new vampire named Spike, played by him, you kind of like him. It's Brainiac himself, James Marsters, and yeah, I know I did that for the Principal Awful, but come on, it's James Marsters, Brainiac, Smallville. You like him when you become Brainiac 5. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, he has this girlfriend, Delicious or something, Delicis or something, and she's like, yeah, you gotta attack the humans, and yeah, and they're like, hey, and then you warn Buffy about something that's going on, yeah, called the Ligor Day or the Gilius Day or something that's happening, and they're like, how do we stop? They're parent teachers. Her mom cannot find out she's a vampire slayer, and yeah, the parent teachers on that night, and Buffy's mom is going. Buffy's dad is nowhere near in this episode, so he's probably back in LA. No one likes Buffy's dad. No one. And so yeah. So anyway, Buffy's like, Buffy's mom says your school can't tell your school better not tell me you're in trouble or I'll be disappointing you. Like, what parent says that? Like Buffy's parents are kind of not that nice. Like, because one, Buffy's dad in that nightmare scene, which is one of the worst scenes. That's why people hate Buffy's dad. And Buffy's mom says that you better not disappoint me, Buffy. And yeah, that's just awful. Buffy's, yeah, because like anyway, but there's like a parent teacher going on, and Buffy's mom shows up, and Principal Awful himself, Awful to himself, Principal Snyder shows up, and he's like, hey, we gotta talk about Buffy, and she's like, hey, you're if that happens, see a high school reunion, you're grounded, and then Willow's like, hey Cordelia, have a lemonade. I love Willow. She's so awesome. And yeah, and then Spike and his angels, Spike and his vampire, decide to attack. And Buffy and Mama and Principal Awful to himself, Principal Snyder, are all in a corner, and they're like, hey, and they're like, hey, you're not going out there, and she's like, yeah, and there's so Buffy goes, and Principal Snyder attempts to escape, and Buffy's mom pretty smart. She's like, remember what Buffy said, and she's like, Buffy's a student. What does she know? And that guy gets attacked. The other teacher gets attacked by a vampire. And and Buffy, and Buffy, she, like goes after, she, she goes after Angel, and I mean, she goes after Spike, and Spike's like, oh, Slayer, and yeah, Buffy met Spike in an earlier scene, but anyway, in an earlier scene, sorry, and yeah, so, so, so yeah, so he was, so he's going, and so Angel pretends to be a bad guy, and pretends, and, but but he betrays Jake Masters, aka Spike, and he's like, hey, you're supposed to be a sire, and 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 yeah, so so they stop the vampires, and then in a later scene, they're like, hey, they're like, they're like, they're in a later scene, the principal's there talking to the guy, talking to like a police officer about that teacher's death, and he's like, I told him not to go out there, and just like, bruh, 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 you told him to go out there. You're saying you told him not to go out there when you're the reason that guy got you. You're the reason that guy died. Stop taking credit for Buffy's mom's work. Buffy told you to stay still, dude. You were like, what does she know? Like, bruh. This Principal Awful 2 has gone up the awful end. He just took credit for Buffy's mom. For what Buffy's mom said not to go out there, and he's like, oh yeah, I told him not to go out there. Like, bruh, you are the awfulest principal ever. Go, I'm done talking to you, bro. Go, Principal Awful 2. If you say, just kidding, I don't like him, but I have to put up with him. I don't like Principal Awful 2, aka Principal Snyder. He took credit for another person saying, but, and yeah, so the episode ends with Spike killing Colin, cause he just puts Colin in a cage and just lowers him up to the sun, burning Colin to death. That's the way you get rid of Colin. By the Anointed One dies by burning to death. He was supposed to send Buffy to the bad place, but he died by sunlight. I guess vampires die by sunlight, but and the whole reason why they said they couldn't keep Colin on was because the actor was growing up at the time. He was originally going to be one of the big bads, but because he was aging up to growing, they could not keep him around. Okay, this episode is not one of the best episodes I've seen, but it's mediocre. I did not like this episode. Actually, I liked this episode, but Principal Cullen was the worst. What do we have to expect from Principal Awful 2 next to Principal Crack? What can we expect? He's the worst. Yeah, I think his worst moment was when Joyce said, "Hey, we should listen to Buffy. We should listen to what Buffy said. She knows what she's doing." And he's like, "Hey, she's doing. What does she know?" And basically puts a guy's life on the line. And then he takes the credit. He's like, "I told that guy not to go up there. You didn't tell him." Anyway, I'm done with this episode. Like, comment, subscribe. This is one of the worst episodes it's not one of the worst episodes that I've seen. Also, Sheila, the girl, became a vampire. Forgot to mention that, and she got knocked out by Buffy. But anyway, and I guess she got killed. I don't know. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll see you next Buffy the Vampire Slayer.